This week we sailed to Dunmore East on the south coast of Ireland. We failed to buy fish and chips twice, as it's early in the season, and give you a little glimpse into what's coming up on the channel over the next couple of months. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe below. It's free and just allows you to see all our new videos as they come along.
We lifted our anchor at, where were we? Youghal? Forgotten already. And we're currently on our way, I think, to Dunmore East. There's a visitor pontoon that we're planning on going on. We might have to raft. We might end up anchoring. We'll see how we feel when we get there. We're currently fighting tide. We did know that this would be the case, but it's still upsetting. We're going very slow, between like 3.5 and 4.5 knots, and bashing into the waves as they come down. It is quite breezy, but the breeze is coming from dead ahead, so we're not actually sailing. The tide's pulling us out, so if we did, we would end up further out than we want to be. So we've got our mainsail up for a bit of stability, but that's it. We're hoping to get in anywhere between 4 and 7, depending if our boat will speed up at all. Maybe the tide will turn, well, might not turn until later on, but yeah, hopefully it will turn and speed us up a bit. But yeah, a bad day at sea. Oh, and our gas has run out. We do have another gas, but we have to change the regulator because we weren't able to get in the same gas canisters. So we had a couple of cups of tea this morning and now it's run out, but luckily we've got cold food for lunch anyway and we don't need the gas, and we'll be able to change it when we get in later tonight.
Honey, put your phone down. I know you've been hurting. This spiral's a lonely road. Take my hand and listen. Maybe one day you'll cross paths and you both got new perfumes, and the life you used to live is left within that old apartment. Maybe nothing's said and done, and your chest is set on fire, but I promise you there's nothing but a cold-hearted liar.
You can see that I've put on a few more clothes because it got a bit chilly earlier, but we are making some progress. We've got about 4 hours to go now, and we'll be arriving in about 5 p.m, which is a little later than we expected, but the tide hit us a bit more than we thought. It is seeming to ease off a bit now, and we are doing about 4.5 knots. We are still motoring, but we've got a mainsail up and that's helping us with a bit of speed as well. But yeah, we'll see again. Hopefully go alongside on a pontoon, and then we're considering whether or not we're going to leave at 4 a.m. tomorrow to hit the tide to go either to Kilmalkey or Rosslare. We'll discuss that a bit more later.
We're on our way from Youghal to Dunmore East. We were against the tide today, just as we wanted to travel in the daytime. We wanted to make some progress, and the tides just didn't work out for us. The wind was also against us, but it was looking light, so we set off anyway, even though all of the things were against us. So we shouldn't have set off, but that's just the way that yachting is sometimes. If you want to go somewhere, then sometimes you have to compromise and just get on with it and turn the motor on and have a bit of a day at sea. So first thing this morning, it wasn't rough, but it was uncomfortable and unpleasant. It was very cloudy. The waves had built up because it was waves with the tide, and it had been going for a while and it was building. So for the first probably 3 hours we were beating into, I don't know, 2-meter waves or something, probably not that big, and into the wind and all of that stuff. We had the main up. We put the main up before we pulled the anchor out of the water, but we were only making 2.5 to 3 knots sometimes, and then occasionally 4. But we stuck with it because we knew it was going to calm down, and it has calmed down. You can see that now. There's dropped down to probably 6 knots of wind, still on the nose, but it's very light. The tide is still against us, but yeah, we're gradually making progress now. Probably another 2 hours to get to Dunmore East. We're not really planning to explore Dunmore East particularly. We're just going there as a stopover. Youghal was quite nice, but very tiny town, so there wasn't a lot of reason to stay there for longer. And as I said, we're trying to make progress. So yeah, we're going to stop for one night at Dunmore, and then we're going to go to Kilmore Quay probably, or possibly work our way around to Rosslare or Wexford Harbour. We haven't decided yet. And at the moment, to give some insight into that, the way that we sort of navigate is tomorrow we're going somewhere, we'll look at the detail. Next week we might go somewhere, we'll put a pin in the map and say that we might go there. But until we actually decide to go there, we don't do a lot of navigation effort in terms of getting there. When it's a longer passage, like when we came over from the Scillies, we were planning that for a few days and looking at the tides and stuff. But when it's just a 6, 7, 8 hour schlep up the coast, then you know, we'll look the day before, try and plan the tides to be as favourable as possible, make sure that we're not going into any danger zones, headlands or overfalls, and look at the weather, and then we'll do the planning. So when we get in today, we're going to have some dinner, and then we're going to look at the plan for tomorrow to get to Kilmore Quay or Rosslare or Wexford. All of them look quite shallow on the charts. All of them, apart from Rosslare, look like we can get into them from the pilot books. So just like we had in Poole, it's different information in different sources. The Southern Irish marinas, harbours, etc. don't tend to have great websites, so you're relying on information in other sources mostly, because they're just smaller places. So we come from the Solent, where each harbour has a website. Most of them have got tidal gauges and all kinds of things on the website, because there are tens of thousands of boats in each harbour, and it's worthwhile, and they're getting enough money to support that. Whereas Youghal, there were 4 boats in there, only 2 of them looked like they were permanent boats. There are many more moorings. We spoke to one of the local guys, and he's just launched his boat, and it was the 7th of May, so obviously the season's a bit shorter there than back home. But yeah, it's turned into a pleasant trip today. I was going to say sail then, but we've not really sailed at all. Been having a bit of a on again off again race with another boat. They're 3 meters longer than us, so they were faster, and they were sailing. They went 5 miles out to sea, then they came all the way back in, went to the land, and they've ended up just behind us, and they're still motoring anyway, so they probably had a nicer morning than us, but yeah, we were just being lazy again. So yeah, I'll leave you there, and we'll hopefully show you Dunmore East later. We should be able to tie up against the quay there, but if not, we can anchor somewhere there or in Waterford Harbour. We're not going to go up Waterford Harbour. It looks like a very long 2-hour drive up the river, and we'd rather get around the corner. We'd like to get to Arklow and have a look around there and show you guys, and we'd like to get up to Dunleary or Dublin or somewhere like that, and have an explore, show you guys, and then we want to get across the Isle of Man still. So yeah, fingers crossed. We'll talk to you later.
I know you don't want to hear. Your heart still believes the way it looks at you, every touch you give. Now you gotta listen.
we're about 10 minutes out of Dunmore East at the moment. Still motoring. Still a relatively nice day, nice and flat now. We're getting a little bit worried that there might not be any space in the harbour. We've just seen another boat with AIS go in to the inner harbour and then turn around and just go back out again. We thought the pontoon would be empty this time of year, so that would be unusual behaviour if the pontoon is empty. The harbour master told us that they do raft in there, so in theory we could raft if there were loads of boats on there. But the other one's gone and anchored out in the near the beach. We might follow suit, we'll see how it looks. The boat in front of us seems to be heading in the same direction, the one that's been with us all day. So we'll see where we all land. Waterford Harbour is enormous though, so there will be somewhere for us to stop. Just after a long 6 or 7 hours at sea, it's usually nicer if you can just go to where you were planning to go and tie up or drop the anchor or whatever. But yeah, we have to keep our wits about us for another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we can relax for the evening and have some food. Also, I didn't mention earlier, the gas ran out earlier, which was sort of frustrating because the last of the gas we were using up was one manufacturer or one supplier, and the next bottle is a different supplier, so we've had to change the gas regulator. Obviously difficult on passage, especially when it was a bit rough earlier. I've done it now, but that meant I only got 1 cup of tea this morning. The kettle was nearly boiled for a second cup of tea. We're British, so if the tea's not going to be made properly, then we won't have tea. So Jude made some instant coffee instead, which doesn't matter quite so much about the water being boiling. But yeah, really looking forward to getting in and having a nice hot cuppa or some hot food or something. Yeah, about 10 minutes out. Well, we've arrived at Dunmore East. We ended up rafting onto what looks like an old ferro cement boat that needs a bit of work, but it's in good enough order to raft onto. Didn't seem to be anybody aboard, or they're hiding below. It's quite common for people to hide below and not talk. Not everybody wants to be sociable. Quite often that's us, which is fair. We read some reviews online that said the fish and chips just at the top of the hill from the harbour were the best they've ever had, but it's closed. Story of Ireland really, lots of places are closed at this time of year. The tourist season hasn't really kicked off. We're told that happens when the kids leave school for the year, June, July time. So we've walked into town. Just a bit of a walk up and down a hill, but not too bad. And we're just seeking out the chip shop now, and possibly a pint somewhere if Jude lets me. And but there's a nice beach here. Seems like quite a nice place now that we're in town. Obviously we're in the fishing harbour, so it's a bit industrial where we started. Jude's leading us to the chip shop, so we might be lost.
It's just here.
Just here apparently, but she was just looking quite concerned. But yeah, we'll have some fish and chips and see how we go. Okay, here we are, not 30 seconds after that last video. Winter opening hours, Friday, Saturday only. Absolutely speechless. It's the 8th of May today. That's not winter. Yeah, gonna go to a bar and try and find some food now.
Let's see if there's anywhere open.
But I mean, for those not in the UK, fish and chips is pretty standard everywhere. We're not in the UK, to be fair, but I'm pretty sure it's standard in Ireland too. And for there not to be a single open fish and chip shop is very weird around these parts, do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, for us. I guess it is a very small town, and like if they don't get their tourists, but it just seems a bit...
They've got tourists.
Yeah,
and we're trying to pay them some money and eat.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, there we are. If you're watching this and you run a chip shop in Dunmore East, you've lost some business.
We found some food in the end. We came out to, it's sort of an Italian restaurant called a Zero's. Really nice. We both had pizza. They were both really tasty, nice, crispy, soft base.
Yep. Nice thin Italian crispy base.
Yes.
Freshly cooked pizza.
Yeah, I had mine rocket prosciutto and some parmesan, and Dave had
salami and nduja.
yeah, but we definitely recommend that. So that was a little uplift for for here.
Yeah, we did go past 2 other closed restaurants
Yeah.
on the way after the chip shop fiasco, but we made it in the end.
Yeah. And we survived, we've had some food, and now we're heading back to the boat, probably to sleep.
We didn't film much in Dunmore East, and we left the next morning, so join us next time when we'll be sailing to the beautiful Kilmore Quay on the south coast of Ireland. We're currently filming this from Portavady Marina in Scotland. Really nice marina, actually has an on-site spa and swimming pool and leisure facility. For real-time updates, check out our website at anamkarasailing.com. We've posted a couple of real-time updates on there now, so you can kind of keep up with what we're doing now. What you're seeing at the moment was filmed 2 months ago, so we've done quite a bit since Dunmore East. We've sailed up the east coast of Ireland, visited the Guinness factory, watched the world famous TT race on the Isle of Man, anchored next to the Mourne Mountains in Ireland. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming adventures. It's free to do. All it means is that the latest videos will pop up in your feed so that you won't miss stuff. So just hit that subscribe button and we'll see you next time.